Living Life Juicy podcast. Conversations with interesting people you should know.
Real quick, I've got a bunch of people here. I know a lot of them are experiential educators, and so when you talk about Karl Rohnke, everybody just kind of bows. But there's also a bunch of people who watch this. I mean, at least dozens of my followers that are business oriented and may not know who Karl Rohnke is.
So I'm gonna ask you maybe for the better analogy, but the closest I can think of is and I just drew a blank, like Stephen Covey. You bring up his name in certain circles of personal development, and it's like the old ABCDEF Hutton, kind of commercial where everybody listens up. So in our field, Ronke was actually, and he'll talk about, because Kurt Hahn and Dewey, and there's all sorts of people that talk about um, different leaders in our field, whether it's from the like Dewey and I just found this out recently that he is not the same Dewey Decimal guy. I just thought it was because Dewey in education, but there are people, but Ronke was the first one that kind of, with Project Adventure and these other things, that put down on paper to get published just the challenges that we do. And although at first he was known as kind of the games guy in our field, and unfortunately just lost him recently, and I cherish the fact that I got to like hear some like raw moments with him, one of which was at NCCPS. Taking a break here, so if nobody wants to hear the story, you can edit it out easily. We were doing Mega Team, which was just a giant team building thing before NCCPS, where it was a whole bunch of facilitators getting together to see how on a full day you could have team building, but some friendly competition and all this other stuff. And one of the competitions was going to be to build fires and create something with it. And this was 2000, we'll say late 2000s. So we've now gotten to a point where like it's not common for me to carry a pocket knife on me anymore because the world has changed, right? And I know some listeners are going to be like, there was a time you carried a pocket knife, a weapon with you. It was a tool, okay? But anyways, when you get a bunch of facilitators together, we like to question, and we like to make sure we're doing it right. And we like to overanalyze everything, even though we don't like our groups to do that. So we're all in this big room. Somebody's leading it. I think it was Faith Evans was leading this along with somebody else. Carl's over by the fireplace in the corner, just kind of hanging out. And somebody in the group asked the question, can we use pocket knives to like help us in this challenge? And this was like, this fell over the crowd of like, oh, like you brought up the taboo thing. And Faith goes in great facilitator style, what do you guys think? And the room got quiet and everybody looked around, and just from the back of the room, there's Karl Rohnke sitting there. He looks up from whatever he was doing. He goes, take a risk. And everybody just exploded with laughter. Like he had this way to disarm everybody of just kind of being that facilitator's facilitator of just putting everything in perspective so quickly. So, but yeah, we all looked to him because he just not only like was somebody that put this all down, but he also just had this personality that was larger than life, that just was that facilitator almost that we all want to be, that to disarm a group and get them feeling naturally around us.
Yeah, he was quite irreverent and never took himself too seriously. He called himself an instigator, and there's a lot of facilitator friends who claim that. I think that, yes, that's part of what we do, but ultimately there's reasons why I don't buy into that. But he was, like what you said, a lot of people's first inspiration and resource when it comes to what activities to do. And then he became the model for how do you do experiential facilitation.
Be present and kind as you do great things.